So, one of the behavioral traits that we use when working with horses are the dominance hierarchies. Horses always have a pecking order, even with people. It's a part of how they function. They want to know who is the leader and what actions are acceptable. We can use this behavior when training because we want to assume a role of leadership with the horse when we ask it to do things. We also need the horse to respect us in order for us to be safe. The horse needs to understand that it cannot pick on us like it would other horses that are below it in social rank. This is important because we are not as big or as strong as horses, so a nip or kick that wouldn't be dangerous to another horse could seriously injure a person. So it's necessary for us to be higher on the dominance hierarchy than they are, making that kind of behavior inappropriate towards us. Now, this doesn't mean that we are completely dominant and force our will upon them and make 100% of the decisions and have 100% of the power. We have to take the horse and its needs into consideration. So, for example, if we saddle up with a particular destination in mind, but the horse spooks and is obviously worried about a rock or a plastic bag as we go, we might say, "Hey, that's fine. Let's go check that out and work through it so you aren't scared anymore." We also won't micromanage exactly where we want the horse to step. We might let it navigate its own way through a difficult area, or find the easiest path itself. These are examples of where the horse can be a part of the decision making. We want a working partnership with the horse, not a forced relationship where the horse is unhappy and has no say in anything. So, with a younger horse that needs more firm leadership, it may be a 70 to 30% partnership. But eventually, with a well-trained horse that we trust, that may look like a 51 to 49% partnership. However, it should always be clear that we do have that extra 1%. One of the ways we can use dominant behavior is when round penning horses. To give a little background, a stallion who leads a herd of horses will assert dominance by controlling another horse's movement. It may snake another horse away, which is stretching out its neck and going towards the other horse with confident and dominant body language so it will move. The other horse, unless it decides to challenge the stallion's dominance, will exhibit submissive behavior. It will move away and then it might lower its head and chew, which is asking if it can come back to the herd. The stallion might keep up for a while until it thinks it has made its point, then allow the horse to come back. Mares will also often do this with their foals, and this is pretty common for any horse to do in a herd when it is higher up in the pecking order. We, as people, can replicate this behavior. When in a round pen, we might take a dominant stance and ask the horse to move forward around the pen by moving towards it, waving our arms and having that confident, dominant body language. In this case, we are controlling the horse's movement just like the stallion did. The horse might test us. It's wanting us to prove that we really are higher up on the dominance hierarchy because it wants to assume that position itself. It might turn and go the other way when we haven't asked it to, or it might not move, or it might buck or kick out. This is where we might take some more aggressive body language, wave a flag around, and do what needs to happen in that situation to basically say, "Hey, no, I'm controlling your feet right now and deciding where you go." Then eventually, we will see the submissive behavior in the horse, the lowering of the head, chewing, turning towards us, and asking if it can stop and come to the middle of the pen with us. It's basically accepting our leadership at this point. At this point, we can allow this behavior and pet the horse and let it know that it did a good job and that we're still on good terms and that the submissive behavior was the right answer in that situation. If instead we had backed off when the horse challenged us and didn't do what we asked, then we would have lost our spot as the dominant member of the relationship, and that is a pretty dangerous place to be when working with horses. Again, notice how we did use the natural instincts of the horse. We didn't just go beat the horse to show it we're stronger. We didn't go tie it up so it couldn't move in order to show it we have the control. We used a language the horse understood and uses itself. We can also use play behavior when working with horses. Horses are very curious and they love to play and participate in games. So if you can make something fun for them and make it a game, they will enjoy it a lot more and be ready and willing to learn. If you have seen horses playing in the pasture, you've seen them running around, bucking, whinnying, having a good time. You can set your horse loose in an arena and do the same. Play a game of tag with them, run towards them, or dodge to the side when they try and evade you, and many horses will participate in the game and play with you. Bring a soccer ball and teach the horse how to kick it around and play with it. Bring a tarp and let your horse check it out and play with it. This is actually something a lot of horses are scared of, and if you can introduce it through play, you may save yourself a lot of time desensitizing and getting your horse comfortable with it. You can run alongside your horse and try and get it to go over a jump by itself. Play is a great way to build trust and strengthen your relationship with your horse, and it can be a part of training if you can get a little creative.